What's up everybody, I'm HoopsandHipHop and welcome to another Odd Facts video, and today we've got a special one in particular because today we are going to be talking about some odd facts about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are of course the brand new Pokemon games that were released just a couple weeks ago, and even though they are brand spanking new, there are still some odd facts that we have learned about them since their release, and even some odd facts that we learned before their release. There's actually a lot of really cool and interesting stuff here, so why don't we go ahead and take a look at the odd side of the Let's Go games. Okay, so this first one is a bit odd, but it's also really cool as well. When you make your way to the Cerulean Cape to save the Pokemon fanatic Bill from being fused with a Pokemon, you can actually stick around in his house for a while and take in all of the sights and sounds that his unique house has to offer. With that being said, if you pay close attention to the plans that he has around his house for his Pokemon transfer machine, you can actually see on one of the plans an icon for a Pokemon that looks remarkably like Snubbull. Now, this is a bit odd considering the Let's Go games feature exclusively Kanto Pokemon, but it's also very cool as well because the place in Johto where you find Snubbull is right outside of Goldenrod City, which is Bill's hometown. So not only is this an odd reference in a Kanto exclusive game, but it's also very cool referencing Bill's hometown as well as his home region of Johto. Moving on, you might think that the mascots of these games, Pikachu and Eevee, were selected because these games are remakes of Pokemon Yellow, and Pikachu and Eevee were the two Pokemon that were available as starters in those games. Well, as a matter of fact, it was revealed by the director of the games himself, Junichi Masuda, that actually was not the reason why Eevee was chosen as the second mascot for these games. It was revealed in an interview that the reason why Eevee was selected as the second mascot of these games along with Pikachu is because of the abundance of fan art as well as the general popularity that Eevee has received online. And as a matter of fact, it was Psyduck who was actually considered initially for the role of this second mascot instead of Eevee, but was ultimately not selected because Psyduck is the same exact color as Pikachu. One of the significant differences between the Let's Go games and the regular main series games is the absence of abilities. However, even though abilities go unused in the Let's Go titles, the abilities themselves have actually been programmed into the games. When it comes to where the Let's Go games fit in the Pokemon timeline, it's a bit of an odd situation because naturally being remakes of Yellow, you would expect that they would take place at the same time as Yellow, just in the Mega Pokemon timeline since there are Mega Pokemon in these games. However, even though it does take place at the same time that Red, Blue, and Yellow take place just in the Mega timeline, it actually shifts the events of the regular Red, Blue, and Yellow back a bit because as we learn in the game, Red and Blue at the time of these games have actually already gone on their journeys, and as Blue says in the first encounter with him, he actually did not have a Pokedex when he went on his journey, which implies that their adventure and therefore the events of Red, Blue, and Yellow actually take place before the events of these games. However, we can also say that these games take place at the same time as the regular Red, Blue, and Yellow in the non-Mega timeline because of the presence and the actions of Team Rocket. So while we are experiencing the same adventure in the same time frame as Red, Blue, and Yellow, it actually takes the events of Red, Blue, and Yellow in the Mega timeline and shifts them to slightly before the events of these games. So one thing that was featured in the lead up to the Let's Go games is that Eevee actually received a gender difference in these games, with the female having a heart shape at the tip of its tail. However, one thing that's odd is that this gender difference only applies to the partner Eevee, because if you go find a regular female Eevee in the wild, it will not have this gender difference whatsoever. We do see other exclusive things given to the partner Pokemon of these games, such as moves and stat boosts, but when it comes to something as big as a gender difference where it directly affects the design of the Pokemon itself, it's rather an odd choice to have this only affect the starter Pokemon as opposed to the entire species as a whole. While not widely publicized, the official names of the player characters in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are Chase and Elaine respectively, and along with their rival Trace, the origin of all three of these names, believe it or not, actually come from the phrase and connotation of let's go, which is basically to explore and travel and get out into the world. Chase comes from the word chase, as in chasing after someone who might say to you, let's go. Elaine comes from the word lane, as in a lane of travel or transportation, and trace also comes from the word trace, which means to find or discover by investigation. The city of Topeka, Kansas actually changed its name to Topekachu for one day when Let's Go was touring the US with demo versions of the game to promote it. This actually happened on October 27th of this year, and it's not the first time that Topeka has done this either, because exactly 20 years ago they also changed the name of their city to Topekachu for a promotional event for Red and Blue on August 27th, which was also the 27th of the month just like this time, and it was also about a month before the game's release, as Red and Blue released in September of that year in the US. Green, the famous cut female player character from Generation 1 who later became known for her appearances in the manga and who made her first official game appearance in Let's Go, has one of the most confusing naming schemes probably of any character ever, because while we know her as Green, she is actually named Blue in Japanese because the character we know as Blue was named Green in Japan, since Japan got Red and Green versions first, followed by Blue, whereas Red and Blue were released everywhere else without Green. Then Fire Red and Leaf Green came along, where we got what was essentially at the time Green's official game counterpart. This game counterpart, instead of being known as Green like you would expect, actually became known as Leaf due to some unused trainer data found in the games, which was later made official with the release of merchandise featuring her. However, even though this was made official, she is explicitly named Green in Let's Go, which basically means that Green has three official names: Green, Blue, and Leaf. However, even though Leaf is the official name of her iteration in Fire Red and Leaf Green, she cannot be referred to as Leaf in Let's Go because she was specifically and exclusively given the name Green in these games. So essentially, with the inclusion of her in Let's Go, we now not only have three official names for the same character, we also have two official yet separate iterations of the character in the game universe as well, with Leaf as well as Green. Shortly after the release of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, there was some official concept art for the games that was released in Japan, and some pretty cool things can actually be found within the character concept art in particular. For example, in Koga's concept art, you can see him without the mask that he wears in the game, and you can also see a sketch of Janine, his daughter, amongst this art as well, despite the fact that she never appears in the game. Following that, a headshot of Blaine in his concept art with his original non-mustache and glasses design can be seen, and in Misty's concept art, a drawing of her in a bikini can be seen, which, although that does not match her official design in this game, it actually matches her design from Red and Blue. And finally, in Pewter City, there is a little girl outside of the Science Museum that has a Butterfree that she specifically refers to as female a couple of different times, even though the Butterfree next to her is clearly male because it lacks the black spots at the bottom of its wings that a female Butterfree has. And there we have it, everybody. Those were 10 odd facts about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Now, even though these games have only been out for a short time, there's obviously a bunch of odd things to be had and seen about them, and I'm sure we will continue to discover more as time goes on. If you enjoyed this video though, be sure to give it a like and let me know down in the comments below which one of these facts was your favorite, or if you know something odd about the game that you have seen that I did not mention. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more Pokemon content every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and if you're a fan of Pokemon music and remixes, I would also like to recommend my Spotify as well, and any support there would be extremely appreciated as well. With all of that being said though, I will be back on Saturday for another video, so be sure to hit that notification bell so you can be notified as soon as it goes live. And with all of that being said, I love you guys, and until then, I will smell you guys later.